Did you know that the average shelf life of an appointment setter is 3 to 6 months? This revolving door is why most founders struggle to scale their sales teams past $2 to $3 million per year. The problem here isn't your talent pool. It's that you're missing a setter ramp protocol that is designed to produce killers. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact 5-step protocol that I've used to turn new hires into an elite appointment setting machine for a sales team that is generating $2 to $3 million per month. Step number 1 is filter and frame. This is all about two things: filtering the talent pool to pre-select the killers and framing their expectations from the very beginning. We start with a paid trial day. This is actually the final phase of the interview process. It is the beginning of onboarding. We go through a paid half day of onboarding in a small group with 4 to 6 candidates. Here we indoctrinate the candidates to the sales methodology, the script, and our sales system. I give everybody the script 24 hours beforehand, and on that day, we drill and role play in a group. We even get them live on the phones. The key to this day is that I want to see how they're reacting in a live sales environment and how they're receiving live coaching. How are they moving? How are they talking? How are they receiving the feedback? Are they implementing? And also, how are they interacting with their peers? This gives us the opportunity to make informed judgment calls before hiring. For the short list of candidates that make it past this round, they're invited to a one-on-one KPI and scorecard review. Most founders will just give a commission percentage and hope for the best. We do the exact opposite. We show them what the on-target earnings are for the role, what the actual take-home pay is, and the exact KPI of dials, sets, and closes that are required for them to hit their OTE. And then I show them what's possible for high achievers in terms of earning potential. If they don't understand, and if they haven't taken the time to reverse engineer the comp plan and the inputs, the activities, and the numbers that then get them to their ultimate earning potential, then how can we expect them to perform and to achieve those goals over the long haul? In this case, they know exactly what the target is, they know what the game is, they know the effort that's required and how they're going to get scored throughout the process. And ultimately, they know exactly how they're going to get rewarded. The big problem that I mentioned earlier is that the average appointment setter has a shelf life of 3 to 6 months, and most sales teams are churning through sales reps almost like a revolving door. And so this is creating revenue volatility, but ultimately this creates a lack of conviction in the sales team because nobody's sticking around. So the team itself will start to doubt the process, they'll start to doubt the offer, and even worse, they start to doubt the founder. And ultimately this makes it challenging or impossible to build a high-performance culture. The biggest lesson that I learned here after scaling 7, 8, and 9-figure sales teams, hiring and firing countless reps, is that I learned that faster that I can put these new sales reps into an environment and see how they move, give them coaching and feedback, and ultimately see how they receive it and apply it, the better my judgment call from the very beginning would be. This ultimately gives me stability on the sales team and the ability to scale. This is the fundamental shift between amateur sales teams and teams that are utilizing a real sales team operating system. The old way looks like a revolving door. You hire, they fail, and you try to coach them up, and the revenue is volatile. The new way is all about protecting your calendar so that you never ramp the wrong sales rep, and you let the process do the filtering and the firing for you. So now that we've got the right person in the right seat, we can't just leave them to figure it out on your own. We have to indoctrinate them into the way that we want them to think about sales. Step number 2 is onboarding, and I call this welcome to the jungle. This next section was inspired by Alex Hormozi. After investing $36,000 to be a member of his private community of million-dollar business owners, I had a rare opportunity to peek under the hood of how he's running his multi-9-figure sales team and also the sales teams of dozens of other portfolio companies all doing 7, 8, or 9 figures. He actually had the audacity to sell me his internal closer team handbook, which is given to every single new closer that joins acquisition.com or any of his portfolio companies. And I can't believe I paid more money just to get access to this but this was one of the best investments that I've ever made. This was the inspiration for this phase of Welcome to the Jungle, which has now indoctrinated a new cohort of sales killers faster than I could have ever imagined. Anytime that you're starting a new role, the first couple of weeks are just going to be overwhelming with information, and it's really hard to process this information, and it's even harder to remember it all. So the actual retention of what you're teaching these new sales reps in the very beginning is very minimal. And I found that I was teaching the same thing over and over. The big breakthrough that Hormozi helped me achieve here was that I learned how to use analogies to simplify complex processes and make them easy for new reps to remember. In the past, I would teach these analogies or I teach these lessons over weeks or months of working together with a sales rep or a team, one-on-one or in group environments. And it would take them 2, 3, 4, 5 months to learn all of the little lessons that I'd want them to know. After reading the ACQ Closer Handbook, I had a light bulb moment. And Hormozi does this in the very beginning. So he gives every single rep this book, and this is the first thing that they have to consume in order to come onto their sales team. And I thought to myself, what if I took every single lesson that I teach throughout the first 2, 3, 4 months and turned them all into analogies and gave them to our sales reps in the very beginning in a very clear, concrete, easy to process way, so that when they go through the training, they would have these light bulb moments and they'd remember the analogies and they would stick easier. And so that's exactly how I created the Welcome to the Jungle protocol. 37 of the most valuable sales analogies that I've learned through an entire career of selling and managing sales teams that have generated over $54 million. Next, I'm going to walk you through the sales team operating system, where we're going to orient new sales reps to a level of structure that they've likely never seen before. And then we're going to take the analogies from phase number 2, and we're going to put them into a high pressure, real world environment. Step number 3 is sales bootcamp. This is all about orienting our candidates to their new structure and their new routine. Every morning kicks off the same way with a morning ramp huddle. We start with wins, we review numbers from the previous day, and we set new targets for today. All right, then we immediately jump into drilling and role playing on a specific part of the script, and then I let them loose for the day. In the very beginning, the first 14 days are all about over communicating with tight and fast feedback loops, correcting bad behaviors immediately and positively reinforcing the positive behaviors that we want them to carry forward. This can mean that we can have 3 or more meetings every single day in the beginning, a morning ramp huddle, a workshop in between, sales team meeting, and an end of day huddle where we're reviewing calls that didn't go as planned. In the past, I would hand new reps an onboarding playbook with a bunch of call recordings and say, go through the playbook, watch the recordings, you've got a week. I quickly realized that there was a problem with that, and I started to notice some patterns. And when sales reps were left to their own devices, even the best reps would get lost without structure. So the big takeaway that I learned here is that the standards and expectations for structure, for accountability, and for activity is set from the very beginning. When I would map out their schedule down to the minute for the first 14 days every single day, and I pushed them to adhere to that schedule, I was able to indoctrinate them into this mentality, a very disciplined process, which they would carry forward after the 14-day ramp process. Discipline without recognition is just a grind. To keep those killers hungry, you have to turn the boring data and the analytics of the CRM into a high-stakes arena. This takes us to step number 4, gamify the leaderboard. Most founders hide their data in a messy spreadsheet. We actually put it on a Jumbotron. Here's where we make the numbers, the dials, and the set appointments the cultural norm. We aren't just tracking results, we are weaponizing the data to reinforce the exact behaviors that generate millions and millions of dollars. By using a ramp leaderboard, we can create friendly competition amongst the new reps, and they can kind of battle for the top spot to earn a bonus, but most importantly, the status of being number 1. Before I adopted a structured system like this, it would take 2 to 3 months to ramp sales reps into the killers that I wanted them to be. What I quickly realized is that if I could show a sales rep how to start from the very beginning with the intensity that other teams expected after 2 or 3 months, they would get results much faster. They would learn faster. And by creating incentive for them to go above and beyond in these first few weeks, we're able to drive not just their behavior, but also the behavior of those around them. And so collectively as a group, everybody's pushing harder, everyone's pushing faster, which ultimately speeds up the ramp process and gets everyone to achieve and see results faster, which means they earn more. And when they earn more, they'll stick around longer. This creates a win-win-win environment for the rep, for the founder, and for me, the leader. Most amateur sales teams stop their ramp process at phase 1 or 2. And that's why their setters and their reps will pop once and they'll slowly fizzle out. This next phase is all about turning your ramp process into a career path and a real sales team operating system. Step number 5 is all about turning your sales floor into an ascension plan that starts at junior setter, moves to core setter, then to senior setter, and eventually setter lead. Promotion within these tiers isn't based on seniority or likability, it's based on gross output. So when they hit a specific activity or conversion milestone, they unlock better perks, more status, and eligibility for a promotion. This appointment setter path leads directly to the next evolution, which is junior closer, core closer, senior closer, closer lead, and ultimately sales management. And so by showing them the future on day 1 of their ramp process, we're able to ensure that they aren't just working a job, that they see and understand that they're building a career here with you in your company. And that is the only set of ramp process that you will ever need. It's the exact framework that I've used to generate over $50 million for sales teams. But having the map is one thing. Knowing how to navigate the terrain is another. To truly understand this sales team operating system without it becoming another chaotic mess, you have to understand the high-stake nuances of building a sales team. Watch this next video right here where I'll pull back the curtain on the exact tactical nuances of this entire process so you can stop being the manager and you can start being the architect of your sales machine. I'll see you over there.